Hey Shooby-Doodlers, how are you doing? I'm making a drawing of a Christmas wreath, and to work it out I'm just putting in these two circles like that just to give me a rough idea of where I'm going. There is a purpose to doing this thing. There is a purpose to what I'm doing, and I am on my other channel, Draw Stuff Real Easy. I'm creating a short. And it's all about Santa, Santa's darkest secret, in fact. and the darkest secret is that everybody who draws reindeer don't actually draw reindeer. Well, occasionally you see Santa actually in a sleigh drawn by reindeer, but it's quite rare. Most of the time it's drawn by roe or red deer or fallow deer or something like that. And it's just not right, is it? But the reason is that those deer are just like a bit more photogenic, really. And when you look at reindeer, they kind of hold their heads down low. They look a little bit depressed and grumpy at times. And they're sort of, I think they're possibly harder to draw as well. These are little berries I'm drawing here. So I'm making this short, which has to be under 1 minute, and so I've written the text to it and recorded the text, which comes in at about 57 seconds or something like that. So you have to sort of keep editing the text and timing it to get it right. And I'm going to do so. These are going to be like fir cones here. And so I've written it and recorded the audio for it. And I've found a little Christmas jingle to put underneath the whole thing. And what I need is a frame. So this is what this is going to be. So I want this frame here. So I'm starting off with Santa. So this is speed drawing of Santa, which is like 2 seconds. And he's kind of an evil Santa because it's his deadly dark secret, and it ends up with a nice Santa, of course. I'm just putting in these little leaves like that. And, I need to put this one in here, don't I? There we go. And so this needs to frame the drawing of Santa because I want him to be tapping his nose like in a knowing kind of way. And the hand has to kind of be hidden underneath here. So there's this whole sort of animation thing that you have to think about. And it's quite fun. I'll show you how it works right at the end of this video. I'll just show you a little clip, show how it's come together. I quite like these little leaves sticking out like that. And I'm going to colour this in Photoshop later, so you can see how I do that as well. I'm going to put lots of these fir cones in, I think, like that, because they're kind of nice and easy to do. And of course, if I coloured them in yellow, then they would be corn on the cob, wouldn't they? I suppose they could be. I could take a bit more time and do beautiful corn on the cob? No, what am I talking about? Fir cones. But I really just want to sort of get on with this. I've got a lot of drawing to do for this video. So the video is kind of promoting the channel, and it's so everything in it is drawn, and you'll see all the elements being drawn at very fast speed. And then in the description box there will be all the links to the different how to do it videos. So I've got I realised I've been going through it. I've actually got about 3 or 4 reindeer videos. So these are going to be nice sort of berries. I think I'll have those as red and I'll have these as gold maybe. So there'll be quite a bit of colouring in going on. I'm just going to double up these here, I think. So we'll do these slightly bigger berries down here. If I wasn't making a video, of course, I could just sort of copy and paste those over here, but that's a whole different thing. We'll do this, and I'm doing this kind of upside down. Yeah, this is going to work, I think, like that. And we'll pop these in here. And then here we're going to want to have a nice big bow. Just going to be something like that. And then I want it to come out and around. Up and out and around. And then we'll bring that in there like that. So that we can put some little bits in there. And we're going to want to have some kind of folds in there like that. And then here we're going to have a nice bit of ribbon coming out there, and similarly here that will be coming in there. We could, if we wanted, put a little bit of shading into there. I think I'm going to be doing less and less of this kind of shading on Draw Stuff Real Easy, but this is not Draw Stuff Real Easy, so I can do that. And now we've got to put in all this pine cone stuff. So I'm just going to kind of do things like this all the way around. Little sort of bits, you know, you get those little bits at the end of a pine branch, don't you? Pine branch, pine nodule, or whatever you call it. So I'm kind of imagining what I'm going to do in Photoshop, and I'm hoping it's going to work. So I'll do a bit of things like this and a bit of kind of filling in the middle there. I think that can be quite scratchy. So I think, yeah, if you kind of draw a bit out, a little sort of nobule at the end there, then that will kind of tell you where you are. So at the moment it's looking quite dark, isn't it? It's just one great big sort of mess. What I could do is just put some extra little shading in those bits there like that, which might help a little bit, give it a bit of sort of shade to it. And the greenery, I'm thinking that when I come to colour in on Photoshop, I'm thinking that this greenery is actually going to be, I'm going to use a technique called lighten. So by lightening it, I will not actually lighten it, I'll be colouring all these black bits, these sort of black sprigs. I'll be colouring them in the Christmas tree green kind of colour. I'll put a bit of wiggliness in there. So that will kind of help to separate out this kind of tonal mush that's there at the moment. If this was just a black and white drawing, I think I would be handling it in quite a different way. And so Christmas is coming up while I'm doing this anyway, so you might be watching this in July. But if you have any ideas for Christmas projects you'd like me to show you how to draw, do put your thoughts down in the comments box down below. And while you're at it, you know, please go and click that subscribe and like button. It's actually a kind of a vanity metric these days of subscriptions, but I'm vain. It's nice to have lots of people subscribing. YouTube doesn't actually take much notice of subscriptions anymore, really, but I do. And if you like other creators, as you're going around watching stuff on YouTube, if you like something, do click on that subscribe button, because, you know, it really does mean a whole lot to the person who's creating the stuff that you're watching. It's sad, but it's true. And of all the metrics, in fact, I think the one that YouTube love the most is watch time. They want to keep you watching, and that's the thing they judge us by, is how long we can keep you watching a video. And they don't care about the number of subscribers, especially like on my other channel, Draw Stuff Real Easy, that I'm doing this for, which is a made for kids channel. So I can't have people subscribe and do comments, and they can subscribe but they can't do comments and things on that one. But there they pay no attention to subscriptions at all, really, because they call kids button bashers. if they see a button saying subscribe, they just bash it, whether they're that bothered about it or not. They just want to see what happens. Ooh, button bash. Mind you, there's probably some adults are a bit like that too. So we're nearly there. We're nearly there. We're getting all the way around. And coming in there. I need to come down underneath as well. And then I'm going to do kind of a forked one there. Why not? Because it's all, this is kind of, down here is actually quite important as far as I'm concerned. Because this is where we're going to be hiding the action of Santa's arm coming up and tapping his nose. Like that. And as I say, yeah, so, you know, that's the reason I'm making this. It has a purpose. And quite often illustrations have a purpose, and they're not just there to be pretty. Now I am going to have to erase those pencil lines. Now let's see what happens when we go to Photoshop. So the first thing I am going to do is to get this green colour and a brush. And I'm going to change, oh, let me come down here. Look, you can go mode, lighten, okay? And I'm on the original image layer so that when I click over the actual foliage, it changes from black to green. So that's pretty cool. And while I'm doing this, I'm imagining that underneath it all, I'm going to be painting a much darker green, a big solid block of a darker green. That because I want a big kind of solid block of colour across the whole circle, round about where I originally put the pencil circles. I want that all to be a dark green because it's acting as a mask, and that is what this. That's what this whole thing is about. It's a mask. And I don't actually have to be too madly accurate because it's just kind of zip zap in on the screen pretty quickly. That's the thing about shorts, you know, you've got to be moving the frame along, you know, every half a second or something. Something needs to happen. And I think it's okay if it's framing something that's moving on underneath, but I think once the action has finished underneath, you need to just move on. So it will have sort of done its business. But I think I will end up maybe with this wreath, and I'll put the text Happy Christmas in it. I think maybe I'll put that in for the thumbnail on this video as well. This is very much a colouring in style that I've been developing for Draw Stuff Real Easy, really, for a year or two or something probably. And I've got all sorts of little shortcuts and things that I can speed along, which are little hints and tips and tricks that I've sort of worked out over the last year or something, that I keep thinking, I wonder, do I have to do that every time? And then I work out, oh, I can set that up as a sort of a macro so that I can just press a button and it'll do the same thing each time and speed up the process. And as you can see, I've got a whole lot of colours up there, and I pretty much don't go outside those colours because they're just nice and easy to pick, and I don't have to think about them too hard. And I have my little, you might hear that, you can can you hear that? I have my tour box, trusty tour box to hand, and if you want to know what that is, click the little thing that's just appearing now and you can see a video all about the toolbox. It's brilliant if you're using Photoshop or other digital art tools. You can see here this original image layer is multiplied, so when I go base underneath, I can paint underneath the whole thing, and because it's black and white, then it's just the whole colour comes in. Now I'm just going to sort of put a little bit of sort of lightness up at the top there, and then maybe just a tiny little bit of sort of shine, and maybe the stalk as well. So that's the only apple. Excuse all that funny noise. It might sound like my stomach if you can hear it in the background, but it's a disc checking itself for doing various things. So these are going to be the sort of olive leaves, something like that. Oh, I've missed out those little bits underneath there, can you see? So I need to come back to here. So we have to remember to put it back to lighten. So I can just do those bits in there, because it would look a bit weird otherwise. I don't think I missed any others, no. And now I need a sort of a brown, so I'm going to actually check this here for something more. Yeah, that'll do. For the fur cones, ooh, and here it doesn't matter if I go over the bubbles. And then here I'm going to paint these sort of a golden colour. The ones, because that, I think that contrasts nicely with the fir cones, and then the other ones, which are kind of freestanding berries, I'll do them red, so they'll be kind of holly berries or something like that. And then just to make them a bit sort of golden, then I'll put in a little bit of sort of shape in there. And of course they'll be needing a little spot of highlight in each one, which you may not see, but I think it just sort of adds to the whole thing, that it will just make them look a bit more sparkly. And then we can go to bright red for these ones. Oh, look at that. Fabulous. And of course we want a bright red. And we just need to work all the way around here. If I made a little mistake, I can just erase that, because it's all happening underneath. It's something you just sort of get used to. The more you're working at this, the more you get used to the different levels and layers and what on earth is going on. And sometimes it's easier to actually sort of go over and then erase, because you're kind of erasing from a different point of view. From the outside, it's kind of, sometimes it's easier to erase than to get it right on the inside. So now I change to an eraser, and you see I can just like that and come down into a nice point there, like that. Yeah. So I've got a new layer, and I'm going to bring it down underneath the base layer. The base layer is at the moment multiply, so I'll do that normal, and then I can come in underneath the whole thing and just do a kind of a splodge of greeniness like that, which will just sort me out absolutely. Oh, I almost missed one up there. How did I miss that? I bet there was some people going all the time, oh, he missed one, he missed one, he missed. Oh, never mind. I will try and cut back to that and do that. Oh, why is that happening? That's sort of like, those must be semi-transparent or something there. That's weird. That's pretty much going to absolutely do what I want. Now, white here is at multiply. I'm going to do that normal, full volume white. So I'm going to put little bits in there like that. And I think we could put some little tiny things down some of these like that, to sort of make them look a bit shiny. We want little white dots in each of these red berries. Shiny highlights in there as well, a little bit down there, and maybe like that. And then I'm going to come into the black here, and I'm going to choose black, and the layer is, I've made the layer transparent. Okay, so you can see here it's 40% fill, and so I can now kind of do these shadows like that, which just kind of gives a bit of depth to the whole thing. And I'm really kind of just painting over this in a slapdash, get it done kind of way, because as I said, I know that this is only going to be on the screen for a couple of seconds, and your eye's not really going to be watching it. We can do that all around there. Your eye's not really going to be taking it in that much, so it can be not perfect. Am I really saying that? Am I saying that I'm prepared to put up with slapdash work? Yes, I am. Let's come back down to there. Pop that in there. And we were doing, I've forgotten what we were doing, the black layer. That's right. Let's go back to black. And a brush. So they're going to want to come in something like that down there. And we want some shade around there and around there, and maybe a little bit under there. And we're going to want some shade in there. That'll just help to make it more obvious that it's a bow. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to remove the frame. I'm going to save this. So I've now opened this up, then I can move this into the middle, roughly where I want it, like that. I can choose a nice dark colour for the background. I think we need a blue, don't we, like that. And that makes a really nice thing, doesn't it? I'm quite pleased with that. So I'm going to save that as a PNG and I will use that in the video. So this is where I want the wreath to appear. Handles. And
secret. His reindeer aren't.
Let's fit that in. So we're going to have that there. And we want it to be bigger. So it's going to be, I'm not quite sure. I've kind of miscalculated this a little bit. Have I? No, that's almost there. Yeah, so that should work it. So now I should be able to get...
Has a dark secret. His reindeer...
That covers his hand nicely. So we can bring that in a bit better.
Dark secret. His
So that does what I wanted.
Santa has a dark secret. His reindeer.
And then that's it. I'm into the next scene already. So I might have something down here and it might have something up there, but basically that's it. Job done. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to Shoe Rainer Drawing Channel. Keep coming back for lots more videos. See you next time. You take care now. Bye bye.